I had a conversation once with the head of global operations of the company that we were working for. And he said, Susanne, you know what? You are going to change a lot of people's lives. The power of TWI. That is what I'm going to talk to you about. 2017, that was the year I was introduced to TWI. And it was the year that changed my life. I know those are big words, but they're true. I was, back then, very shy, introvert. I know it's hard to believe, I still am. I hated being center of attention. When I had a meeting, I hated to say something. I hated to speak up. I even hated saying my name and introducing myself. I had to force myself to do it, and it was not natural. It didn't come natural to me. So never, ever did I think that I dared to become a trainer. To become a trainer. And to travel the world and enabling a lot of people globally. But somehow, that is what I did. And I was lucky to get the opportunity to work with TWI in 3 different ways. Actually, it was all a coincidence. Working with the offshore site, primarily as a project manager, we were looking into a optimization project. And the task was to look into how could we improve workmanship errors. If you know things about working offshore on wind turbines, you will know that in order to become a technician, it requires a lot of training. So why did we still see workmanship errors? I struggled with that question for a bit of time. So how was I going to solve that? And here the coincidence comes in. I heard about TWI Job Instruction. So I thought, well, maybe it's not that we give all these trainings to the technicians. Maybe it's the way we train them. I presented the idea of testing TWI Job Instruction to the management, and they loved it. They said, we have never seen anything like that before. I was working in the training department, never seen anything like it. Let's try. So long story short, what we did is that we upskilled some people, mainly instructors, to become TWI instructors. And we traveled to offshore sites to help them upskill their technicians. But before we did that, we did a pilot in Belgium. Me, and as a project manager, and the TWI trainer, we're going to travel to Belgium to train 15 technicians, offshore technicians, in how to tighten bolts and how to mark the bolts correctly. Now, going to Belgium to train people in that, knowing that these guys are very experienced, and you're laughing, and I understand why. That was scary. The most scary part was that a few days before we left for Belgium, the trainer fell ill. So my manager said, well, Susanne, you do have the basic training, right? Yeah. You travel to Belgium. You train these guys. No. No. I'm just the project manager. Yeah, but you still have the blue card. And so I had to have some very serious conversations with myself. But I traveled to Belgium. I trained. Was it perfect? No, it was not. It was not perfect at all. But what I realized is that I really, really loved it. I really, really loved that one-on-one training. I really loved connecting with the people I was training. I loved the trust that you create. So I was hooked. Is that an English word? Later, I became a trainer. Again, I had very serious discussions with myself on this. You can't do it. It's out of your comfort zone, and it's classroom training, and But I did it. At that time, I was 53, and I thought, if you should ever try to do something different, go grab the chance. And I did. It felt great, and my confidence grew. It sounds really simple. It was not for me. The toughest part was to convince myself that I could do this, and then dare to do it. I felt my story so unique. I felt so special. Imagine I could do this. Oh my God, I'm so special. My next journey as a trainer, also as a consultant working globally. I was the first TWI resource they hired in. I had a conversation once with the head of global operations of the company that we were working for. And he said, Susanne, you know what? You are going to change a lot of people's lives. And those are big words, but I still remember them. And I don't think at that point I actually understood what he meant. But here, I have traveled a lot. I have trained a lot. I have learned a lot. And I have met a lot of great people. For the past 5 months, I have been taking my own medicine here as a consultant. Now I had to actually do it, implement TWI, starting TWI Job Instruction. Again, I know I have some experience and all that, but can I really do that? So it seems as if every step I have taken required these serious discussions with myself. And you should think that it would be easier to believe in yourself for every step you take. But for me, it's still difficult to convince myself that I can do it. But every time I did it, my confidence grew. And when you dare to take that leap, as you were talking about, Anders, the magic happens. Despite my learnings, despite how and where you work with TWI, the results and the learnings are amazing. And they're often the same. To me, personally, the biggest results are seeing people grow. and learn. And it never ceases to amaze me. And it happens all the time. It happens all over the world. And it gives me the chills every time. Just to give you a few examples. Brazil, group of frontline employees. I came into the classroom 45 minutes before the training began. They were all sitting there, lined up. Young crane drivers. They didn't speak a word of English. They didn't dare to look me in the eyes. I was with them for 5 days and seeing day by day how much they grew. That really is amazing. Manager, Denmark. A manager in my present company. Remember, we are not even starting the rollout yet. We haven't even started the first training. Yes, today we did. But already now, she said to me, you know, I can already feel the engagement, the excitement about this. Supervisor in India. The biggest learning here, that was the job relations, was just like you said, Anders. I think I need also to take a look at myself. What can I do differently? And it was just for him, whoa, that was his aha moment. TWI enabler in Brazil. The first time I met him, only spoke a little English. And he was very nervous. But I ended up having meetings with him, bi-weekly meetings. And he was telling me about progress in English. Frontliners in Georgia. Same story. Didn't speak any English. Didn't say much during the training. So I was actually, how much do they understand? But when I came back for more training, I could see that they were just doing the training, facilitating their training board meetings. That just made me so proud. Actually, a foreman from Poland, he's one of my colleagues. He'd been trained to the basic training. And he came to me one day. That guy talks a lot, and he knows. And we were just talking a lot, TWI, does that make sense? But he came to me and he said, I have 2 learnings. I said, oh, great, let me hear. First learning. He is using the why to create relations. He said, I have a lot of difficult employees. But I realized that if I tell them why I need their support in this task, things are much easier. Oh. And he also said, I also realized that, just by talking a little bit and giving them information in bites works much better. Great. The last one, a female crane operator in Costa Rica. Didn't speak any English. Started her TWI journey. And now she is a role model for women in Costa Rica, telling them, you can do more than you think. So actually, my story is not unique, and I'm not that special after all. but it is what I call the power of TWI. We enable people. We change people's lives. That is what we do. To underline the statement of the power of TWI, I want you to meet my parents. Now you might think, what on earth is her parents doing with TWI? My mom, she's 84. And a few months ago, I decided to test the power of TWI. I was going to train her in how to send an email. Sounds like an easy task, right? How hard can that be? My mom loves her iPad and she loves her iPhone, but she doesn't use a computer. So imagine the struggle I had just to tell her how the mouse works, right? But I trained her, and she did amazing. And just to see how proud she was when she succeeded, because she started saying, I can't do this, I don't know anything. Let's try. She was so proud of herself. And she, can I do again? Can I go again? So just to see that was really priceless. My dad, he's 86. He used to work as a sales manager in a global company. He often asked me, what exactly is it that you do for a living? And I keep telling him and explaining to him. But then about a month ago, they visited. And he brought me this card. And he said, I just looked through my files and I found this card. Is that what you're doing? I mean, this is the way we were trained in how to create relations. And I looked at the card. And it was 100% similar to the job relations card that we know today. There's just one thing about this card. He was trained 40, 50 years ago in TWI Job Relations. It doesn't say TWI on the card, but all the subheads and all the headings, 100% TWI. That is the power of TWI. Thank you.